In this episode of Founder Files, the honest conversation series with real founders and actual entrepreneurs, we're sitting down with local Shropshire talent, Adam Purnell, or better known as the Shropshire Lad. Adam began sharing his love for outdoor cooking back in 2017, using YouTube to showcase open fire recipes and celebrate local ingredients from right here in little old Shropshire. Since then, he's grown a brand that's led to major collab. Ad, welcome to Founder Files Uncensored, I guess, as we've now rebranded, which it's a real good look and a warts and all at what it's like to be an entrepreneur, mate. And I think this one's going to be a good one because your journey's been something else, right?
Yeah, I mean, you calling me an entrepreneur feels weird because it's just sort of like
I knew you'd be humble.
I Forrest Gumped it, mate, all the way.
I remember. Well, where did you come? I remember you used to. Do you remember the little walks we used to up Wrekin with Everts on a Friday? You were still in the full-time job then, right?
Yeah, I left my job 3 years ago. Pretty much. Well, yeah, end of February.
Yeah, and what was it you were doing?
I was running the youth service in Shrewsbury, so like completely different to
so far away
what I
from food.
do now. Yeah, it ended up crossing over quite a lot because I was cooking a lot with the kids.
Right.
Because I was obviously, I've since the beginning of Shropshire Lad, I guess, of me just putting a video on YouTube, which is I guess the beginning of it. That was almost 9 years ago now, so it's been a while. So a whole time most of the time I was working with the kids, they were looking at my socials and seeing this thing building, right?
Yep.
So I'd rock up at youth club and all they want to know is what they're going to eat, right? So I did very little other than cook with these kids.
But I think it's what paid to do though. You bond over a good meal, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the easiest activity to engage young people I could come across because obviously you got to come up with something that you're passionate about yourself.
Yep.
And all right at as well, you know. I'm shit at football, so I didn't play football with them. Do you know what I mean? But I'll be there. In fact, working with Everts, we used to do a thing called Sport and Support where we basically got a little bit of funding and we rock up on an estate and we kind of, he would get the footballs out and that. I'd get a little barbecue out and then
go for it.
That was it. And they'd just come like flies across, from all over, sort of around the Grange area and that Shrewsbury. They'd all come flocking over and like, I'd be cooking up a few little burgers or whatever. He'd be sorting out a little game five-side. And it's just like an easy way of engaging with kids, and so, I always use that as a platform all the way through. But
and how long did you do that for then?
How long was I in youth service? At Shrewsbury, I was there 6 years, 7 years.
And what before? So how old are you?
I'm 41 now.
Yeah, with the same age. Yeah, so then what was before the care stuff?
Well, I've been in education pretty much all my life.
Right.
So I'm from like 19. I got my first job as a youth worker part-time.
Yeah.
I was working in a bowling alley before that. So I was
Any good at bowling
I was all right at bowling because I was a technician for a little while on the lanes. Yeah. And if a lane broke, then you had to bowl three games on her to check it was working again. So I got all right at it. But another part of the job then was running the kids' birthday parties.
Right.
And sort of got, half decent feedback from that. I was only like 18.
Yeah.
Didn't really do very well at school or college. So I was sort of like, I worked basically what happened was I worked at Telford Bowling Alley from about the age of 15, 16, did the lane technician stuff and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And then my mate actually went to uni. I'd kind of failed college. He went to uni in Brighton. I went down to Brighton for the weekend and was like, my God, it's good down here. I want to stay here, so I'm going to try and find a job. So went down the bowling alley, all I knew, and they gave me a job. So I ended up staying for like a year and a half, working in the bowling alley in Brighton. But that's where I was doing these kids' parties. And then I couldn't afford to live in Brighton working in a bowling alley. It's like, because London prices, it's crazy. So I ended up coming back home, but then had this thing, kind of enjoyed doing the kids' birthday parties. And my dad was a youth worker as well. So he's like, why don't you do some youth work? And so I used to work in Broseley Youth Club, my first youth club job. And then off the back of that, got a job in a school in Wolverhampton as a teaching assistant, and then became a mentor, then became a teaching head of year, and then realized that I was like,
wait there from a teaching assistant to head of year?
Yeah, within like 4 or 5 years. But it was a really hard school. So it's not there anymore. It changed names now. It's a place called Deansfield.
I mean, that's unheard of, right? My mum was a teaching assistant. She'd never really had a year.
Yeah, well.
Fair play.
So the school, thanks. Yeah, the school was challenging, right?
Yeah.
It was in a really challenging area. And normally like a head of year is a bolt on to a teacher's role, but you needed full-time head of year, someone who just holistic looking after these kids in a pastoral way.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, and then I kind of realized I'd hit the top of a pay scale in the school because I didn't have a degree, so I couldn't go and teach.
Right. Yeah.
So I decided to go and do a youth work degree, and because there wasn't really a subject I wanted to teach. I'm not academic.
Yeah.
There's food tech, but it's shit. I'll be honest. Like, no offense if you're listening and you're a food tech teacher.
I'll delete the comment. Just remove it.
You're gonna edit it. It doesn't inspire kids to learn to cook though.
Yeah.
A lot of certainly the GCSE stuff, it's all about like food manufacture and all this and it's just not inspiring and like, you know. So I did my youth work degree, and then I got from that I got a job in Staffordshire for a while, and then got made redundant from that. Went travelling for a little bit, and then came back and got the job at Shrewsbury Town Council and did that for like 6-7 years. And then
so youth work, I think, and this is what I find fascinating.
Yeah,
it's fuck all to do with being an entrepreneur. Really,
no, it really hasn't.
And this for me is when people watch this is like trying to remove. It doesn't happen everywhere. I know there's loads of stuff, positive things online to talk about, finding opportunities out of it. I mean, you've been bang in the middle of probably trying to inspire kids, young people, young adults as well, because it's quite a late age to look outside the box. I guess don't get put in one of society's boundaries that it's created.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess from youth work though, what I did take from it, from becoming there's a lot of big difference sort of between you can be a youth worker like with a part-time qualification or whatever,
right.
But I did a youth work degree, like a BA honours, and a big chunk of that is about managing people.
Okay.
And that's what I really, I think that's the main thing I've taken from that now. Like, because I kind of,
which will come on
in the service in Shrewsbury, you know, I had a big team of youth workers to manage, like I was used to sort of managing these people. And in a council, people get treated probably with. It's probably more fairly, I'd say, than like in the private sector, you know. And so I guess some of that's been helpful. Some of that I've been probably too soft, you know. But like, I think that whole management module, the double module that I did, was probably the only real module that actually, like, I really kind of still use lots from that now.
So now then, let's get fast forward a little bit. I don't want to go too much because we go on to it. So you met the youth work finish piece, got a degree. And then Shropshire Lad, this is kind of my first introduction, was the Shropshire Lad. Yeah,
well, what happened was, so I said I got made redundant, right?
Yep.
From Staffordshire County Council. And I was kind of in between relationships as well at the same time. So I was back home with my mum and dad, didn't have a job, sort of tail between my legs. And my mate, and I was just like, what am I going to do? And those youth work jobs are like, you know, few and far between.
Yep.
So I was very lucky when that one came up, but like at that point it hadn't. And so my mate who likes making videos basically turned around and said, like I was always having dinner parties and always feeding my mates and stuff. And that was always just my hobby.
Yeah.
And they was like, I love your food. Like, well, let's try and make some YouTube videos of you cooking. So I was like, all right, well, if you want to film them and stuff, he's like, yeah, I want to do all that. So he encouraged me. So we set up the Shropshire Lad YouTube page, which was just a YouTube page at the time. I made this video, and I remember standing in the woods about this time of year, actually, picking wild garlic, trying to speak like 2 lines to camera and just going over and over again. Just couldn't get my words out. And eventually, like, made this video, put it out on just put it on my own Facebook. That was it. Just the link. And people were like, oh, they loved it. And so I set up this page and then set up an Instagram and stuff as well, because quite quickly I realized the guy who was filming me, he broadcasts sport all over the world, so he's all over the place, so there was no consistency for YouTube. But back then all you needed to do for these platforms was take photos, so it was really easy for me to take a photo of my dinner every night, and I was just started documenting that bang 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 every night, like, and I get excited about it, and it was building traction, and I was kind of like getting these small opportunities coming through, and then I got a message one day on my Instagram from a TV producer. Got this new TV show that then they wanted me to cast for it, but they were like, there was a sort of an air of desperation to speak to me. I couldn't really work out why they were so keen. But But it turns out that I think they'd already cast for this whole thing, and someone had dropped out,
Right.
and they needed a replacement quick.
Yeah, yeah.
And it turns out to be this really weird show that you can still watch now if you want.
Right,
It's on Netflix, called Crazy Delicious.
Right.
And it was Heston Blumenthal was the main guy.
Yeah.
And then two other judges, Niklas Ekstedt, who's a Michelin star fire chef, and a girl called Carla Hall, a lady called Carla Hall, who's American soul food writer.
Right.
And it was like this weird show. There's only one series because it was weird, right? But you had to basically forage all of the ingredients at this wild set. It was almost like being like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but like a TV show.
Whoa.
Bit bizarre.
Yeah.
It's still on. You can watch it. It's still on YouTube now. Episode 1. Anyway, so I did that, and well, I don't want to spoil it, but
Yeah, we'll hold that one.
yeah, what happened in it, you can watch it. But I got quite a lot of followers off that. I think I picked up like 10,000 followers on Instagram
Jesus.
quite quickly. So all of a sudden I had some good numbers, and then at the same time I was kind of building up a reputation. I started doing the odd pop-up. I did pop-up at my local pub, which was really popular, and then people asking me to do weddings and things. So I was like 2020 by this point, and I'm like kind of looking at it, and I've got maybe 30-40 grand's worth of events in the diary.
Yeah.
To me, and I'm like, I could maybe think about like going part-time or even leaving work. And then COVID, bang, slapped me hard, right? So I was just like, so 10 steps back, I'm like, thank God I've got a job. Happy days, right? And I wasn't even furloughed because I'm working for the council.
Yeah.
So I was working with the kids. So at this point, I got some funding because they wanted to cook with me, right? And now all of a sudden that's been pulled away.
Yeah.
So I got this funding. So for a whole year, basically, there's 30 of the most vulnerable families I work with dropped off the ingredients every Friday on their doorstep, went around the whole of Shrewsbury, and then put a cook along on YouTube live every week. And that was essentially my job for a year through COVID.
Right.
So I was doing that, but then that was continuing to build my profile as well, because I was putting it on my own. I was putting it on my own YouTube, doing it through and so there's other kids joining in, kids from like Bristol, kids all over, like joining in on this live cook along.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, like obviously everybody's marketing budget just went to digital stuff. Yeah. So all of a sudden, because my followers had just spiked, I started getting lots of micro influencer work as well. Yeah. So I was picking up loads of jobs doing like making videos for brands essentially, and then got some good contracts for longer work as well. So then kind of had to, but by this point, social media is moving towards video. So it's when the reels kicked in. Yeah. So all of a sudden I've got to learn how to do all this. Because I am not techie.
There's an art to it as well.
Oh man, I'm not techie at all. No. And like, it's like I could sink or swim here, you know. I can keep trying to take photos, or I can move with the time. So just started making videos and like kind of, and then that
and how crazy is it not thinking? This is another thing to pull out when we talk about this. Like, your videos are sick.
Oh, thank you.
Like the way this cut, Gaz was literally saw one the other week. We were talking about fucking KFC, and we're doing this right now. So we're about to upgrade some of the lenses, and you don't, or people, if you've got a business or you're starting some of this, the attention to detail on these things you're hearing are so important to be seen by the audience. Like the algorithms now, I think there's parts of them that recognize high quality 4K definition, well cut videos for a start. So, and there's probably another thing here. You've gone from youth worker to getting qualified as a degree to now being a digital marketer. Yeah. Without really knowing.
Without really realising it. Yeah. Say I Forrest Gumped it all the way.
Yeah, seriously.
It's just like,
take it till you make it, baby.
Doing what I enjoy, right? Doing what I enjoy, really.
But then there's elements there, if that's not entirely true, because you've been pushed into your comfort zone quite a bit then. Because you move from cooking is one thing. You know, my mum can cook. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then there's being able to then do exceptionally well and then do your own marketing and keep pushing yourself. I think that's some things, and I always try and echo it when we do find these instances, what it's about for anyone watching. You might feel you're down in your luck, or you can't do something, or you need someone else, you don't. Yeah, no, totally. It can be done anyway. But you have to graft. You know? That's the thing. It's just don't ever take your foot off the gas. Yeah. One thing Figure it out. Say. Like, never give up and just keep pushing at it. You know, and but sometimes, you know, do things like I was only doing the Instagram. I never even knew, I swear, when I set up an Instagram page that it would be my main source of income. But it is now. And what's it need? 50,000 followers. Now, like it's still by far my best income is from Instagram. Yeah. So, but like I never even knew I could make money from it. All I was trying to do really was show people what I could do. Yeah. You know. And now it's really valuable, you know, to me. But that's the thing, isn't it? You know, when you are you look at marketing, like, because what we were a marketing agency, it's feelings and emotions you're trying to create. Prick on those and pull the right people in, and that's where the reward comes. I think that's the piece. So you're at nearly 50,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
We'll put a little link up. Tom will do some of that stuff.
Thank you.
If you haven't found him anyway, it's just sick. Just don't do it fucking first thing of the day when you're sitting at work, because you just end up hungry as fuck. I end up going to get a McDonald's or something because there's fuck all else around here. So where were you? You talk about, so you
Well,
just
mate, my
started.
restaurant's like 17-minute drive.
Where were you? Which way from here? Bridgenorth, isn't it?
No, Ironbridge.
Ironbridge, sorry.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
How do we get here? Oh, actually, it's not.
It's really not bad because you
down
go
New Toxtett Road.
back road. Yeah, you're there. Like,
Right, that's it. Next Friday, the team day out to
that's it,
Embers.
man. Come and see us.
That's it. So go back quickly, because I did interrupt you. So you've just started, Instagram's kind of started into the Reels piece.
Yeah.
Completely new for you.
Yeah. So then I was getting all this work, like getting sent all this stuff in COVID. So I'm constantly like, I mean, it's slowed down now, and I think it has for everyone because there's more ways people like, you know, the world's opened up again. But it was mad. Sometimes I was like, every day I had a job, I had to make something for Instagram, and it wasn't charging mad money for it, but like it all added up, you know, and it became like a struggle to be tapping into work.
I remember it was one of the walks we did at the Wrekin. I remember actually talking about this. You were did you got some sauces, some jobs with the sauce or something? I can't remember. I might be making that up.
Yeah,
there was a ton of stuff you were talking about.
I did a lot for Bullseye barbecue sauce.
That was it.
A while ago.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, like there's been so many opportunities, and then obviously the world opened itself back up again, and I'd picked up some long-term contracts, which I still do have now for marketing,
content creation.
Yeah, content. That's the word I'm looking for. Sorry, content creation. And then we're still getting quite a lot of smaller jobs as well. But then all of a sudden, I'm needed for festivals. I'm needed, hosting at festivals, like working with Tom Kerridge down at a pub in the park, like getting shipped all over the place, doing stuff. And it just got to the point where I was like, I can't do my job anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and I'd even said to them, I think I may leave, and they were like, "Oh, we'll give you, you can have unpaid leave, as much unpaid leave as you like." Oh, great. But then I will come into work when I did come in, and it'd just be like, I'm just thinking, I'm not really doing the job I should be for these kids, And so it's the point.
And you've got to be all in, I guess, when you are there with them, because you've got to be present, right?
Yeah.
It's not
and
something you can half-ass, the kid's going to realise.
Nah, and it just doesn't, it's not great if you're not getting, like, as a professional, the lead professional, you've got to be on it with your emails and all that kind of stuff. And I was just
because you managed the team course as well.
Yeah, I was running the whole service.
Yeah, an unpaid leave mechanic, so that means the boss is never there.
Yeah, well,
winner.
Well, exactly, and this is why it just wasn't realistic in the end. So people always say to me, "Oh, was it scary leaving your job?" I was like, "Nah, it wasn't," because I'd already got to the point where I was struggling to make
time's right
everything work.
I best. So let's explore that point. You talk about bottleneck, and that's always a big question. I get asked the same. I mean, was mine scary? No, it wasn't. It was different. Mm-hmm. It was going from big to fucking enormous.
Yeah.
But the work, I'd had 3 years of like dueling them things. Mm-hmm. Sounds like you've had a similar period of 2.5, 3 years of like moving, shifting, still balancing too, till you just know you're like, well, it's not unsafe, really.
Yeah.
It's a relatively measured risk.
Yeah.
And you're well versed in what you're doing.
Definitely. I mean, what sealed it for me was, as I mentioned a couple of times, I got these contracts. So three brands who I work with now very regularly, like monthly. I create content for them that all offered me like a monthly retainer.
Nice.
So like it added up to double my salary already.
Yeah, there you go.
From work. So it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I was like, even if nothing else happens, I can just do that.
And how much time would that take just on them three things? What are you talking, like half a week or something?
Yeah, I mean, it does depend. Probably like a day each for each one per month.
What's that? 19 official work, 9 to 5 days, but 30 other days to do your own thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge, right?
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great. But then there was a lot else other stuff going on. So it's
so let's move in.
So to fit them in,
So Shropshire Lad then was, so retainers, content creation, Shropshire Lad's created. I mean, you're doing all sorts of weddings, festivals, hostings. I've seen bits of that happening.
Yeah. Hosting various stages. I'm doing a fair few this year again as well. It's like through the summer months, that's one of my things I do, going about or sometimes just doing demonstrations, but hosting's great because you just get to stand, especially, I mean, the pub in the park gig, it'll be my 5th year there this year, and like, that's massive because I'm standing there with literally the best chefs in the country, and I'm interviewing them, so I'm standing over them, watching them cook, in like keeping the conversation going for the audience. But wow, man, I was just like, what am I doing? Why am I here? It's crazy.
It's weird the way it works. Yeah, that first video, YouTube, you said you were you're picking garlic or something, and you
picking wild garlic,
struggling to get your words out, and then you can be on stage again. Just another thing. So, so Pub in the Park is one of the ones. Is that the best hosting gig you've had? One of the best festivals?
I mean, it's the biggest for sure, because you're hosting Tom Kerridge, you're hosting Michelle Roux, you're hosting Atul Kutcher, like big chefs, biggest chefs in the country.
Yeah.
So it's and then obviously you get to socialize with them as well. You get to hang out. You get to pick their brains on how they've got to. I mean, like Atul Kutcher did the $1 million menu recently, gave $1 million of his own money away. Like the guy is massive. Yeah, huge. And like, you're rubbing shoulders with him, and like that, it's been great for me for networking and just sort of understanding the bigger picture. And like,
Cooking's got, and I don't want to put this too much of a downer, but it's been. We talked off camera this morning about the economic landscape and everything. I won't talk too much. I want your input and view just from a hospitality perspective. But being a chef's graft, right?
Oh,
without sure. Shadow, got a couple of Liam.
Don't ask me. I'm not a chef. I still don't see myself
like
as
a hybrid.
Chef. Well, not really. I mean, I have a team. So obviously, we haven't got to this point in the conversation, but now have a restaurant, right?
Yep, and it's called Embers. Over in Ironbridge, not fucking Bridge North, Davis, even further.
It's all right, it's got a bridge in it.
Yeah, it's got Ironbridge, actually. It's fucking one of the most important places in the planet right now, I think.
Yeah, well.
Start of the iron.
Birthplace of industry.
That was it.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, so it's a cafe. We're open 6 days a week. Cook everything with fire, which is our USP. Because I don't think there's anywhere else. I don't think there's another cafe in the country that cooks just with open fire.
Nice.
And then we do open, for breakfast and lunch 6 days a week. And then it's Friday, Saturday dinner service, which is at the moment is all speciality steaks. And then Sunday we do a roast. And like, we're set in the woods. Say again?
2 years in?
Just coming up 2 years in. Yeah. Set in the woods, just on the edge of Ironbridge. So you wouldn't know we were there. You've got to follow us. We've got a nice brown sign now, like a tourist.
Yeah, tourist sign.
Proud of that. Got the tourist sign in there. So you can find us. But yeah, we're off the beaten track on the site of the Smallwoods Association. So they basically teach people about woodland management, they're all charcoal on site, all the wood. So all of our fuel is like made in-house as well.
Right, we're definitely going to go on Friday, guys.
It's pretty good, man. Like, I mean, I'm very proud of what we've done there. But we're talking about coming back to the chef thing.
Yeah.
So I've got a team of chefs who work for me, 5 now, full-time chefs.
Right.
Working there. And I literally lean on them to look, because I don't know. I'm a home cook, right? And I get these ideas, and people like my food, and like I think that's what makes it stand out. Because I have to stop them from being too chefy at times,
Yeah.
But I'll go to my head chef Zach. I mean, he's got an amazing amount of experience, incredible CV. Like, can't believe he actually works for us, to be quite honest. But like, I'll go to him and say, right, I want to do this, but I haven't got a clue how to send it to 150 people. But he knows how to do that. And they know those processes. So it's a graft. Like, everyone is grafting constantly.
So what would you say is the difference then? Because this is interesting. As a chef, because I'm not a great cook. I think it's fucking way harder than it looks. It's very underestimated. So if you're not a chef, what would you say? So what was the difference then? What would you coin yourself? Is there something in the industry where you do?
I'm getting used to the idea of being called a chef, I guess.
Are you a cook? Should we just call you a cook?
I think a cook. I think the difference is when you're paid to feed people, you're a chef.
You're a chef.
But like, if you're not paid to feed people,
you're enjoying some home cookery.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I like that.
These guys on Instagram who just have food pages and stuff, but they don't have a restaurant. I don't think they're chefs.
I'd agree. I quite like that. I'm going to hold that. Yeah.
But I think there needs to be. As soon as you're feeding people, whether you're doing street food, whether you've got a restaurant, whether you're, working for someone, you become a chef. Then
you do.
And you don't have to be qualified to be a chef.
No,
because a lot of people are self-taught. Come through, but like, until you understand the industry from someone's paying to eat your food. Or then you're a chef, or someone's paying to eat someone else's food that you've prepared.
Reheated.
Yeah. But all like, whilst I let my chefs have an input on our menu. It is usually my menu. You know, like, I've just come from rewriting. We change the menu every sort of like 6 weeks to two months.
So what we're looking at the moment, what's the things?
What's coming on? Or
well, let's do what's currently and what's coming on then. If we're in the middle of a change, what could someone expect to see if they popped over the next week?
So we from October to now, March, we basically try not to sell beef in the week in favour of venison, because we've got venison all around us. It's like super, like really sustainable. Like, it literally comes from the woods behind us. It's, you know, all that meat has never seen an antibiotic, never been fed artificial pellet or anything. It's never seen a vet, never had any stress. It's like lean, wild.
And I'm guessing you can taste the difference then.
Amazing. It's incredible stuff. And like, people are frightened of it because it's never presented in a way that can be like, that's accessible. So we're doing it in like, we do like a dish called the sloppy dough. So it's like a sloppy Joe, but we're using dough, like dough as in the female deer. You know, so it's like a smoked venison ragu with cheese and pickle cabbage on a bun. But it's like, you look at it and it's like, yeah, I want to eat that. And we're doing a venison steak wedge as well, open steak sandwich, you know, things like that. But so the space where we were in before I had it was a vegan vegetarian spot.
Right.
So we've tried to sort of honor that and keep, you know, still 2/3 of the menu is vegan veggie. So we have got meat dishes on, but there's a lot of great vegan veggie options on there as well. Partly GDP is, you know, it helps to sort of balance it out because meat is so expensive. At the moment, it's absolutely wild. And then also just to be sort of realistically, you know,
you want to cater for everyone.
Cater for everyone.
Bring a family. It's all right if 2 out of 4 are happy.
Exactly that. And don't be like vegetables are so good over the fire. Like, it's the best way to eat them. Like,
so here's one, right? Because I'm a big thing of this. I don't like cooking a veg. I think this needs to be quite raw or crunchy. Is that a thing?
Definitely.
You're not like all like
mushy.
I think if you're not just drilled everything out of it as well.
Of course you have.
Right.
But like a fire, you know, quick char, quick blast of the fire over, you know, it really does kind of elevate vegetables. And so, you know, like mushrooms, we use a lot of mushrooms, like just little things like smoking tomatoes till they're sort of half dehydrated and put them on. It's just going to be 10 times on the breakfast, 10 times better than anyone else's tomatoes. Guarantee you. You know, these little things are where the smoke is an ingredient that like helps to sort of enhance anything. It's not just meat. So yeah, that's kind of the older stuff. Now but the venison season's just ended, so they can only shoot the bucks now, which is the boys.
Right.
So my guys can't guarantee me. We were getting through 2-3 beasts a week, so we can't guarantee the stock anymore, and it's kind of going out of season. So we've changed the menu up. So beef is coming back in now.
Right.
Obviously, we still serve beef on a Sunday. We still do our steaks on Friday, Saturday night. But like the venison's been a big thing. You know, we've got a decent fishmonger, so it's not very easy to get good fish around in Shropshire because we are landlocked, so it's understandable. But things like oysters, like no one else sells oysters, but I love them. They're like really good, like most nutritionally.
You mean
dense.
you just swallow it? The thing you just swallow out of a shell?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What is in that? What's good?
It's a shellfish, isn't it? It's the most nutritionally dense protein on the planet.
But no one ever chews it, though. You just swallow the bloody
I
thing.
chew them.
Yeah, I've watched it. We were watching a film with that, and I thought I never really got that. Oh, it's Riviera. It's on Netflix. Don't digress a bit, but she's just swallowing them. I'm like,
I mean, pretty much, two chomps and a swallow. Yeah.
What do you have with it?
So it depends. So we do them cooked or we do them raw. So one of the special ones we do is that we like render beef fat over it. So and then we put like one of my rubs that I've brought out, margarita seasoning in there, which is like high in it's basically lime, dehydrated lime, jalapeno, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, just sort of that heat, sweet, sour.
And they're available all day, every day?
They're usually the weekends.
Right.
All sorts of stuff. We've got fish tacos on. There's lots of different things, but we do generally try and only sell stuff that's British as well. So like on our tacos, for example, we don't like, I've banned avocado. There's no avocado in our. I'm sorry, man.
I'll have to bring our own.
We make guacamole peas instead. So we use green peas instead of avocado to make a guacamole substitute.
Fine.
For our tacos. And obviously with fish.
Still high in natural fats then?
Higher in protein. lower in fat than, so like, you know, from
So
a
good alternative.
yeah, and British, you know, and also, you know, they're frozen peas, but that's making good use of produce all year round. You know, we know that blast frozen peas don't lose any of their goodness.
Yeah,
it's a raw product as well. We don't cook the peas, so eating raw peas, but like it's really like, obviously we add in apple cider vinegar, chilies, red onion, like it's all good stuff in there, and it makes, you wouldn't recognize it as peas, and even if you do, it's with fish, like fried fish, so it kind of works anyway.
Yeah.
So that's a few examples.
And you're not a chef, no?
I guess I am now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I never
like
really
listening
felt
to you
like
when
I
you're
was.
saying this stuff, you're bringing food to life for a start, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
There's a lot of knowledge gone into that.
It's an obsession. That's what it is. It's like, you know, people say, how'd you get good? How'd you know all this? I'm like, it's because I'm obsessed.
Yeah. And then
I'm obsessed with food. So like anything you obsess over, you get good at, right?
Yeah, of course.
You know,
there's a lot of hours.
That's all it
that,
is,
isn't it?
Yeah, but it's because I can't switch off.
Yeah.
Ever. Like from ever. Like I know every man and his dog says his ADHD these days, don't they? But like,
oh mate,
I think I can't like put something like film on. I'll try and watch the film, and like maybe 15 minutes in, I'm thinking about food, thinking about dishes and like things I want to make. You know, I can't focus on anything. It's frustrating at times, but like,
yeah, I bet
my head is in food.
Yeah,
that's it.
But look what it's created, right?
Yeah,
and I guess the other big question is to make you happy.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it's frustrating. Obviously, I brought my missus in now. So she was a teacher for 16 years. She gave up her job as a teacher to come and run Embers.
And how cool is that? Because this could be
good.
People talk about mixing relationships and business and work and stuff, but how's that panned out? Is it?
Well, put it this way. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
Like working with your missus every day. Like, you know, or not every day because I'm not always there, which is good. And we do have that separation. And obviously, she, you know, she's gone in there. She's just learned on the job. She has no idea how to run a restaurant. Like she didn't have any idea. She's had to learn, and she's doing a bloody good job of it.
Yeah.
But doing it together is great because there's like if I'd have just done this on my own, we probably would have definitely broken up because she wouldn't have seen me.
Yeah, she would. Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of them, and it's like she's into it, and
it's good. So we've got Shropshire Lad, chef, cook, moving to be a chef into influencer, which is definitely what you are in your field.
Mm-hmm.
Host, festival goer, business owner, restaurateur. You've also got your own brands, right? Products.
Yeah, well, I guess the Shropshire Lad is the brand.
Or the brand.
Yeah, products.
Or products.
Yeah.
Rum and the meat rubs.
Yeah, so we've got rum, which we've made with the local distillery, and it's all fire cooking related rum. So we've got a white rum, which is filtered through the local charcoal that we use, Caradoc charcoal. It's made just outside Church Stretton.
Right.
So it makes it super smooth, but complex as well.
Okay.
It's almost got like slight tequila vibes, but it's very, very smooth. Then we've got golden rum. So that's just basically the white rum put into a barrel it's been an oak barrel for a year, which gives it the color. So we don't add any colors. All this like things like Kraken and stuff that are like almost black. It's just food coloring, man. Don't buy into that bullshit because it is bullshit. It just comes from the wood, right?
Yeah.
So it has a year in an oak barrel. But I love cooking with cherry wood. It's my favorite wood. So when we bottle it, after it's been a year in an oak barrel, we then put a cherry wood stave in the bottle.
Right.
So the wood continues to affect the flavor of the rum. And we call it cherry evolution because the longer you hold the bottle, the more cherry comes through. So it's kind of, or if you drink half of it, obviously you concentrate it even more.
Yeah, of course.
You know, good excuse to open it when you get it. But like, and then we've got a spice rum, of course, which is, that's just my favorite blend of spices, but we toasted them until they were smoking and then threw them into the still. So well, not into the still, but into the once it's been made. Once the rum's been made, it's the golden rum after a year, and then it has just 5-day infusion of spice because you leave it too long,
and then it's ready to go.
It's got medicinal, almost like cough medicine or something.
Okay.
So yeah, got those 3, all made with Henstone Distillery. So it's all made in Shropshire. Now there's obviously you need sugarcane, molasses to make rum. So people always sort of ask how we do that.
Yeah.
We basically buy Billington's molasses sugar.
Okay.
Turn that into like a paste or a liquid with water, and then ferment that, and then we distill that. So
fine.
So it's like
the process is what, nearly 2 years long.
At least a year, yeah.
Fine.
From sort of start to finish. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you know, we haven't been doing it for that long, so but we've got some stuff that's in barrels that will go for longer.
Yeah.
So after 5 years, you'll be able to do like a 5-year aged and
yeah.
But obviously,
And how's
in
it
its
going?
infancy, yeah, it's going well. I mean, like as you know, I mentioned off camera, we kind of we did it 2 years ago, and then literally launched it just before I opened Embers. So then that kind of took up a lot of my time. And then at the same year, they had to move their distillery. Their entire distillery was changed location, so they were pretty busy. So we've kind of had the product there, and I sell it by the glass at festivals in my Rum Shack and also at Embers, and you can buy it on the website and all the rest of it. But we haven't done a big campaign to push it just because we haven't had time. But
it's still working. I think that's the best way, isn't it? The organic stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then the rubs.
Yeah, and then we've got 3 rubs. So the margarita rub, which I mentioned, that we put on the oysters, and then we have what we call a house rub, which is basically we used to make, before I had the rubs at Embers, we had what we call our house rub, which we would make as a baseline kind of seasoning. Went on almost everything. So we sell loads of different types of chicken wings, but all of them start with the house rub.
Fine.
They go in the smoker, and then they're dressed up with different sauces.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's a good solid all-rounder.
Yeah.
And then we've got a coffee rub as well, which is more for like darker meat, really. And it's really good on veg as well, like roasted vegetables and things like this, which obviously has coffee in it. But then otherwise, it's kind of jerk vibes. So you got like allspice, black pepper, mace. We've got a load of thyme in there, garlic, a little bit of chili. I didn't want too much heat to come through, so like you add the Scotch bonnets as a wet.
Yeah.
But that's the basis of it, was around kind of jerk, but then with the coffee as well. So it's, you smell it. It almost smells like an OXO cube. It's got umami vibes coming from the bottle, sort of thing.
And you were heavily involved in making it then?
Okay. I literally went to it's a great process. So we literally went to the factory, and this is made by Angus and Oink. They're up in Aberdeen, and they're like probably are still number one barbecue rub maker that's not in supermarkets. They're quite like within, if you're in the sort of barbecue world, you'll definitely have heard of them. Yeah, but you can't buy them in Sainsbury's and that. And they've kind of chosen to go down that route
on purpose.
Like they want to be sort of seen away from that. But went there, and Scott, the owner, went through this. He's got this software, so he sort of asks you about the rub you want to make, and like he literally asked me questions for like half an hour about the rub. So like, what kind of country influences would you like? What kind of flavor profiles you're looking for? What foods are going to go on? How do you want it to be used? All this, and then it comes up with a load of ideas for you that you kind of sort of start cherry picking. So we can kind of you go into the warehouse then with a vague idea of what you want, like what kind of salt, what kind of sweet, where's the sweetness coming from, what heat, all this, and then you've got exposure to over 500 different spices and sugars and salts and all and numbers and all sorts of mad shit that you can put in these things. That like then we started building it. So you sort of say, right, we're going to take a base of like so much sugar and salt, and then start adding things in, taste. I think it needs a bit of this, taste, and then once you get where you need to be, we've marked down the exact gram of everything, and then you can just scale it. So literally,
what made you do that then? I'm guessing could you just know the industry? Is it something you aimed to do? Did it just happen?
They approached me actually because there's a guy that was working for them doing their social media. He was obviously quite a big fan of what I was doing, so I think he drove it. To be fair, he doesn't actually work for them anymore, but he linked us together.
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, great man. And and I was then up. I said I'd love to do it, but they're up in Aberdeen, and it's like
it's a track.
But then I just went up to Scotland to do some work, and I was like, I'll tie it in. Yeah, went up there. We made the stuff. We made it, and then it took nearly a year for both of us to get round to actually getting it bottled and out there as well. But we did it. We got there.
I suppose though, if you think about was it Monster, the festival season kicks off. Yeah. Your fucking summer runs away with you.
Oh mate.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
Especially when you stuff in the week and you like go over the weekend, back over the week, try and have a day off or some downtime somewhere. It flies, right?
It's tough, man. And like if you can't go and you can't. They didn't want me to just send a recipe, and I didn't want to do that either because it's not going to come back.
Yeah.
As you want it. So I had
Did
to
you
wait for
shoot
the time
content
to go there.
when you were up there?
Yeah, we did actually.
That makes it even better, right?
Yeah. We shot a video.
Yeah.
With it in, because they've got quite a cool setup. Actually, they've got like a little barbecue school at the back of the factory and stuff. So yeah,
Nice.
we shot a video, and yeah, now we just sling it out. Basically.
Performance starts with the right fuel, and that's where Lifelines comes in. And just like today's guest, Adam Purnell, aka the Shropshire Lad, is redefining outdoor cooking with bold, honest flavours. Our podcast episode sponsor, Lifelines, is redefining what clean, effective performance fuel looks like. Designed for those who demand more from their bodies, whether that's around a fire pit or in the gym. Lifelines delivers clean, science-backed hydration, energy and recovery solutions without any of the rubbish. If you're pushing boundaries, creating, grafting, or just need to stay sharp, Lifelines has your back. No fillers, no compromises, just results. Discover your Lifelines at www.lifelines.com and fuel your potential today. We reached the end of where we are at 2025 at the moment in terms of the entrepreneurship levels you're at.
There's other stuff going on.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
So what's coming? What's in the pipeline?
Well, there's a little second venue go back to pop up.
Cool.
Pretty soon. I can't say too much about that one yet.
Fine. When do you think it will? Because we could time this when
about a month's time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
And it's going to be the other end of Telford, but it's nothing like what we're doing at the moment. So it's linked. The brands will be linked to Embers, but it's not. It's going to be a very different setup.
Like it.
So that's coming.
Good.
What else is there? Yeah, well, I mean, I'm working on that thing for now, really. We're also taking Embers on the road. We're doing a few street food events and things. We're going down to Herbert's Yard, which is owned by Digworth Dining Club.
I've been there, yeah.
But it's just
Cool
the other
place.
side of, it's like Longbridge, sort of South Birmingham.
Yeah.
Do some big numbers down there. So going to do a pop-up there. Doing a few local festivals this year. So yeah, there's a few bits tinkering, but
Mate, I like it.
trying not to take on too much because,
What's that? How's that defined for someone that can't stop? It never is, I don't think.
No, exactly.
That you just want to, I guess. So what if you had to say then? But what's a couple of the biggest things that you would, if you look back on what you've done, that fairly progressive, natural journey of where you've ended up, if you listen to what you were doing, what are the couple of things, if someone's watching this, you just call out or say, keep mindful of, or
I mean,
people,
I guess if people are trying to, build a brand or to develop an idea, I think it's got to come from your heart. I think if you, for me anyway, I'm sure some people you're talking to the wrong guy if you want. I'm not somebody who can spot an opportunity and turn it into $1 million business. That's not how I've rolled. But I think if you're good at something and have got a passion for it, stick to your guns.
Yeah.
Don't try and cut corners. Like at Embers, I could make so much more money if I used a catering butcher, if I, cut corners on the cheese we use, or even we use artisan baker for all of our bread. But and we're taking the hit on that every time. But that is my ethos, and I think sticking to your ethos, sticking to your guns
is important. People
will find it. You attract the right people. But yeah, and just believe that actually if you're good at something, you have got a talent, that people will want to see it. Because it blows my mind every day that people still come up to me and say, "Oh man, I'm so inspired by what you've cooked, or this thing you did years ago, I still do, or whatever." And you don't think it, but it means something to someone. And don't overlook social media, because it's just such a good tip. It's unbelievable, man. In January, we had a woman come to Embers. This is an example from, she's got a TikTok account called Things to Do in the West Midlands. And I think she's got 25,000 followers. So decent account. But she came to us and said we were the best roast in the West Midlands. And it had 1 million views. And we've just been fully booked ever since. So it's not only not underestimating your own social media, but if you can find ways of tapping into other people,
collabs, partnership, community.
Massive.
I think I've talked about it a lot. Just start something, start doing something.
100%, man, and don't always look to be paid for it.
Yeah,
just do stuff for free.
Yeah,
do stuff for fun. Do stuff that people are gonna look at it and say, oh yeah, that's wicked. That's just fun. Like, because then it comes across natural. Yeah. And then people buy into it. Like, one thing I've sort of learned as well from my socials is that, like, I've had a lot of polished kind of videographer work done, and it never ever performs as well as the stuff I've done on my phone. You know, it's as simple
it's more
as that.
authentic though. If you think about, I think you look at the site, like, trust's gone.
Yeah.
Too many ads, we're all tired out by micro-influencer stuff because that burnt the candle bloody quick.
Yeah.
You talk about when you did start saying, I didn't want to interrupt you at the time, but micro-influencer was big and then it wasn't because everyone could fucking do it. And it's like, and it's a good thing, but then that loses its authenticity to the viewer. Average dwell time on a device is below half a second. Just that bit of like scrolling. I mean, when I was at Monster 10 years ago, at one point it was at 3.6, I think, in the January. By the middle of summer, it was near, I think, 1.1, and now we're like under half a second because our consumptions are getting different.
Yeah.
So I think those points you call out create something that's either fun, engaging, or authentic. It has to stay true.
Yeah.
You're not going to build it any other way.
No. And also just give knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, people love that. Like, people, I mean, it used to be the algorithm wanted you to hit save, right? And so that was a big thing, like giving knowledge. So writing out, like ball ache for me, writing out bloody recipes, like, so that people, when they're in Tesco's, can go and find the ingredients.
Yeah.
You know? Now apparently it's forwarding on.
Yeah.
So that's why we're littered with these shitty memes all the time, because it's like, oh, Dave's going to find this funny, I'll send it to him. But then, you know, it's, I don't try and follow that. I mean, if I was really, I probably should, but, you know, I just do my own thing.
Yeah. And it works.
Yeah.
Really works.
Yeah.
Lessons then. What's probably the hardest, if you had to just sit there for a minute and think about what was the most challenging bit out of all this? What things jumps to mind?
Oh, opening Embers is by far the most challenging thing I've ever done in my entire life.
That was an easy one.
You know, 100%.
Why?
I'm told it's the hardest time in 20 years for hospitality, the last 2 years.
100% believe
and I opened 2 years ago. So, you know, it's really, really been tough. Like, you know, we were about to hit all these extra payments, you know, increase in
the budget.
Increase in national insurance payments, minimum wage increase again. Like, when I opened, I was proudly paying people above the minimum wage. Then they brought it up to the same as what I'm, you know, was paying, and now they're going to go over it, and that's only in 2 years.
It's ridiculous,
you know. And then the costs of everything have just gone through the roof. Like, it's mental. I mean, we turned over £500,000 in the first year and lost 15 grand. And I was like, how'd you do that in a cafe?
Yeah.
Fucking insane. You know, and I think maybe we should probably break even, maybe make a small profit in the second year. The third year is looking good because we've got everything in place now. But
let's not fuck about 3 years doing what you're doing in the industry, in the hospitality industry. And I've got a bit touched with I talked about this morning. It's a hard place to be.
Oh, it's tough, man.
It's relentless, right?
Yeah. It's so hard. And it's, you know, even with my, you know, 45, 50,000 followers and whatever, I opened and there was a big buzz around it. But like, I actually look at the analytics. There's only like, there's 5% of my followers are from Shrewsbury, 7% are from Telford. So that's what, 12% of all of them.
Right,
so it's only now really that the word of mouth and the TikTok videos and that are reaching people who've never heard of me. And Embers is building its own brand, and people are starting to come, because there's no passing trade. We're in the woods.
I was going to say,
there's none. Nobody walks past. So yeah, it's been that. I mean, I guess I went into it a little bit of, put it this way, like before I had that, like I used to just do pop-ups or whatever, and they would just be really popular and sell out straight away because people knew I wasn't doing them very often. So it was like, oh, there's an opportunity, bang. But when you're open 6 days a week, that fizzles out quite quickly, right? And
so what do you think is the key then to keeping the interest there? This regular menu change, or the fact it's your broader brand image you have? Or
I think the USP as being fire cooked food, like and like, you know, you go to barbecue restaurants and you don't see or smell anything. Whereas when you walk up to Embers, you can see there's an arsenal of barbecues outside. Yeah. The smoke is in your face as you're walking through the door. There's a guy outside, usually, certainly in the weekends, there'll be people outside cooking in front of you. Yeah. You can come and talk to us. It's all open plan inside. We change the menu constantly. We're championing our local suppliers constantly.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you pretty much the cow's fucking name of your steak, if you want to know it. Like, I could tell you everything about what you're eating. And like, there's not many places around here where they can say they're doing that. And it's reflected in our pricing because it's just how it has to be to survive. It's not greed. It's like we have to price it, but it's not extortionate or anything, but like it's more pricey than it would be somewhere that's using a catering butcher or whatever else. But I've had to stick to my guns because that's what I've always preached,
and it's working.
I'm not changing that. You know? Well, it's starting to, and I think there's a market for everything, right? And there's a lot of people want cheaper food. There's everywhere else around here is doing that. Go there. So
where's the difference?
But there's some people who want something a bit better, a bit different, higher quality, a bit more love, want to support an independent. You stick it out for them.
And it's an experience. Like if I'm going out for food, then it's going out just to sit there, am I? It's like ideally you'd want something there. Yeah. So you talk about, interestingly enough, you might be as capable and hands-on as you clearly are, the analytics piece. How interested in that are you? Like, are you stuck in zero? Are you looking at or would you have a team of people who are doing it? You clearly know your numbers a bit. Yeah.
I mean, I know my numbers, but like, I don't have time to worry about it too much. I'm certainly not trying to chase what the algorithm wants or whatever. I just crack on with it now. There's friends of mine. There's a guy called the Smoking Elk. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Yeah. He's massive now. And he quit his job about the same time as me. He's got a barbecue school. It's incredible down near Portsmouth. I went down there 2 weeks ago. Did a class with him. But he just focuses on his school and then content, and he does content really bloody well. Yeah. But he's on 250,000 followers now. And I think when we both finished our job, we're on about the same numbers. Yeah. So because he's been able to not take his foot off the gas, and he does it really well. He deserves everything he's got. Yeah. But I've totally taken my foot off the gas with social media because I've opened in a restaurant. It's different beast, and so I'm not getting the numbers that could be if I just focus on that. But it's like, do I really want to? I take my joy really from feeding people, and also, I'm 41. If I'm sick, I need something that's still going to feed my family. Exactly. At the end of the day, and so building a restaurant kind of division like Empire, whatever, maybe chain, Empire. I don't know, whatever Empire. We end up with. Well, yeah, I mean, you ain't going to make any money just opening one. No. So we've got to work on that. But I feel like while I'm healthy and able, I need to be working on things that are actually going to still be sustainable if I'm lying down in my bed. Or you
can even hand down, right?
Say again?
Hand down the pass
Well,
down.
yeah.
That's the other piece, surely.
Of course, yeah.
So I'm going to ask a fucking stupid question because I don't think there was an even answer for this. But when you're not cooking or working, what do you do?
Fishing.
Oh, yeah, I've seen you on a boat. Yeah,
I'm always
but you're still
fishing.
then eating the fish.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. We're about to start shooting a little series actually where I fly to different places. I've got a friend who happens to have a plane. That sounds mad. But his job is, he's done quite well in business, and he's got a little...
Go on fishing.
Yeah, so this guy I've met recently, who's actually turns out to be a fan of my page, was like, our hobby is flying this little 6-seater 1970s plane about. So do you fancy flying to Carnarvon and we'll cook on the beach and we'll fly you home? I was like, what? Oh, sweet, man. So we did that a couple of weeks ago. And so now... that was great. So now I've basically been speaking to Kamado Joe, who's one of my, I'm an ambassador for the barbecues. And so we're going to shoot a little mini series of us flying to places to hopefully catch fish, cook them, eat them, and then fly home again.
This is what I love. Right? Yeah. They're going to send up, you literally get flown about in a plane.
I know, mate.
That's mint, mate.
It's pretty mad. And it's not like, it's a little old plane. It's pretty cool though.
Yeah,
it's not like being in a private jet. Yeah, having big leather seats and cocktails and that. It's like shit your pants scary, rocky little plane.
Do you fly well or not?
Well, it's all right. Yeah. But you can take very little in it as well. And
what do you need? You fucking rod or?
Well, to take the barbecue's 35 kilos, but so it takes one seat.
So that's looking perfect.
But yeah, we're trying to obviously plan stuff where we minimise what we carry. Yeah. But we're flying down to Newquay next week.
That's in the western of Cornwall. Oh,
yeah.
Sick.
And doing a day's boat fishing. So flying the barbecue down, get it off the plane onto the boat, hopefully catch, kill, cook and eat something on the boat. and then fly home again. That's the
Sounds shit.
Oh yeah, terrible. Eh?
Sounds absolute shit.
Those are good days.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's why I've got a team of chefs who are running the place, because if I was in at Embers all the time, I wouldn't be able to take those opportunities.
Yeah.
And that is still putting food on my table. So,
and do you not think it'd ruin the thing you've created? Because I'm going to ask another question here. It's like, you did talk about do things you like and interesting. So I PT'd for one. It fucking depressed the hell out of me.
Right.
I literally felt like I was obviously good at it, but the bit I got good at is not teaching someone how to fucking lift a weight. It was more about the engagement piece.
Yeah.
Just like felt like an agony aunt, like a therapist. It was fucking horrendous. Like, I just remember just getting home most days thinking, the world's fucking well depressed.
Everyone's moved online now. You wouldn't have to deal with any of that shit.
But I wouldn't be doing anything. It'd be even worse. But if you were in if you were cooking like in Embers every day, how do you think that would? Surely that would rub off and just, or not?
I mean, some days I kind of wish I was, and because there's just little tweaks that I always want to do. There's little things I just want to do but no one can live in my head. No one can extract that from my head. I'd have to be there for that.
Yep.
And like, I can just elevate something like on the spot, or like a customer comes in and says they like a certain, I chat to everyone and like, they like a certain thing. Oh, I'll just whip this up for you that's not on the menu, or, I'd love to be in that position, but then I can't be really. But then when I am there, sometimes that happens.
You are playing around with it.
But yeah, it's like, my team is great, like really, really great.
So who've you got in the team? Let's do a shout out for the team.
Shout out to the team. So it's a big team now.
I fucking hope so.
If I forget you, I'm sorry, but these are the key,
so I put him on the pressure
players. So obviously my missus, I'm going to call Tess out first. She's like literally been unreal. It's been a properly stressful for her, because it's like completely new. Like, and leaving a solid job for 16 years, for it.
Yeah.
Been massive. But like, and we work day and night. Like I have to tell her to stop talking to me about work when we're lying in bed trying to go to sleep sometimes. But like, without somebody that relentless, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And then her brother Bruce, so he moved back from Bristol to come and manage it for us as well.
Nice.
So like, another family member, solid, someone you can really trust, and like have an eye on things when we're not about, because Tess comes out and does stuff with me as well. And then so my chef team, we've got Zach. So Zach's the head chef, like literally a godsend, I mean, he's worked everywhere from Innisea, the 2 Michelin star place in Wales, which was #1 in the country, to wedding venues, to like really good gastro pubs. So he's got a really rounded 13 years of experience.
And he lives around here?
Yeah, he lives.
What a touch.
Yeah, right. He lives in Ironbridge. And like, so lucky, man. And like, but it's his first head chef role, you know. So for him, it was like, it's a big step up, big responsibility, but he's getting to play around outside with fire. He's getting to be creative, like, and I guess we started Friday, Saturday nights now, but it's not all evenings, it's mornings and lunchtime. So the hours are quite nice, really, most of the time. I can't keep him out of the building, to be honest. I need to force him to have holidays because he just always wants to work and loves it. We've got Jake, the sous chef, incredible. Like he's come in, he's been traveling for the last 12 years,
right?
So we always play the old Johnny Cash, I've been everywhere, just to take the piss, because every time you mention anything, he's been there, he's done it. Like he's been in jail in Peru or fucking all over the place he's been, but like brings a real good vibe and a lot of interesting ideas from stuff he's eaten around the world. But he's just solid as well, just comes in, gets the job done. Great. Moya just turned 20. Like, I met her when she was 16. She was working for my friend. I did a pop-up in his pub. And I was like, fucking hell, who's she, man? She's brilliant. And this is before I even knew I was going to open a restaurant. And then so I was about a year in, just shy of a year in, and we lost the chef and we were like kind of needed someone, and she just happened to turn up in these tie I remember she's wearing those baggy tie, like sort of hippie pants. She like just come back from Thailand, and she got bloody drugged in Thailand and everything robbed off her. So she had to come home. She had all of her money, wallet, fucking passport, everything gone. So she had to reset, and she needed a job. And I was like, right, get in here, we'll have you. She's class. So she's in with us now. So those are the 3 full-timers, and then we've got 2 new lads starting who I can't shout out yet because they might be terrible. I know they won't. I'm sure that
No, I would.
Jack,
Let's leave
Dylan,
later.
I know you're going to be amazing, but like,
Don't fuck up.
So we got those two starting. So Jack's starting on Friday, and then Dylan starting 2 weeks later. So we'll have 5 then. But then we've got this other little venture that's going to pop off probably in a month. So people are going to be split across 2 sites. Sometimes they're probably going to need somebody else in there.
So there you go. If you're in, what could you be looking for? Another chef?
Yeah, we'll be another
I
chef.
heard it here first.
Yeah. So yeah,
We'll put all your links up and stuff.
Drop me a message if you're hearing this and like the sound of it.
And I'm going to come back, go back to that. And I think we talked about some of the bits we did say at the beginning about your journey through youth work, then in the degree bit. This is probably where that degree bit's really, really coming into, or those modules you talked about.
Totally, man. Like, totally. Yeah. Because, like, yeah, I mean, Tess, bless her, like, well, she's managing the place. She's never managed anybody because she wasn't like, she was deputy head or anything like. She was a teacher, and like, so she went in, managed a classroom full of kids, which is, you do sometimes use those skills,
which is harder.
There have been some challenging staff who are no longer with us, so we've had to use more youth work skills and adult skills with. But like, yeah, like so. But I've been able to sort of help her a little bit, and also Zach. I mean, Zach, like as a head chef, is now managing the team. He's never had to do that before, so I try and support them to use some of the skills that I've used over the years to try and, be fair but keep everybody happy and kind of, and also like what I think people don't do enough of in generally, like I used to do all the time in youth work, is have supervision sessions. So I have time to sit down with your staff and go through like what's going well, what could be better, what can we improve. And so like I do that mostly really with obviously with Tess in bed, usually when I'm trying to go to sleep. But like
a little one-to-one.
But like I've just come from one with Zach. Like Zach has been off for a week. We've just had 2 hours sat down going through stuff. And then he'll filter down to the rest of his team. And then if there's any issues, bring them back to me. So I haven't got to sit down with everybody. But I will do some. But still, they might have beef with him. So like then
it'll come round.
I'll still come and say, you need. We'll still have the odd sit down.
You've got an open door policy.
Yeah, totally.
But here's the interesting kicker, mate. We at the top always get the by default shittest and hardest problems. Fact. Because they're good at us, do they?
Yeah, no, of course.
But then how do you feel about that? I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had any like real major problems pushed my way, I don't think yet. Like, but I guess I come to them with problems too. Sometimes more from a practical, like physical point of view with regard to chefing, I guess. Yeah, I think we all just, I think in hospitality, you always end up becoming a bit of a family, And
I can't imagine how not when you're working so long. It's so pressured.
Exactly. And we often now recruit based on who we think will fit in with as much as anything else. We had a few lively characters to begin with, and it just sort of upset the apple cart, and it makes it for a miserable place to work. And you need to try and find that synergy so that everybody kind of clicks and gets it. And
so we do
the same vibe.
I've always done something with skill and will. So you could have like the most skillful person in the world, and the corporate world teaches you that all day long. I fucked that off ages ago. Or will, like. What is it? They talk about Navy says, could I trust you with my life? Could I trust you with my wife? I think those two are pretty good. Like I could teach someone something as long as they got the right attitude. I think culturally, like everything I try and do in my business starts with cultures, like values. But having a really honest look, I'm very fucking clear on the way I am. I'm polarizing is how I do it. I've kind of got used to being that way anyway. Very ambitious. So I follow that same suit. And I think for anyone watching this, it's probably when you're going through your worst time starting businesses up, it's a pressure cooker. Oh,
totally.
So I think early on I learned. Would you consider? Would you align with that or not? Or would you?
Yes and no. I mean, like the business side of things is something that has been really hard for me because I don't know what I'm doing at all. Like I really don't. Especially like when I went from. So when I was still in the youth service, I was a sole trader for Shropshire Lad, and then because I was in the salary and that, it got to a point where obviously if I think was it 50k or something, then you'd end up paying 40% tax.
You can take it.
So I had to set up a limited company.
Yeah,
and then I don't know, a fucking clue what that means, basically, or how to manage it, or whatever. And then VAT, fucking hell, like horrendous, you know, like, and I don't get it, and I don't know, I still don't understand it now, really. So, yeah, so and just really, to be honest, even now, getting to grips with trying to do the number crunching and the nitty gritty, which is because I'm just a cook, I'm a creative, don't get business really, like, and this is why I'm saying I Forrest Gumped it all the way, because I still parts of it, which are like, I don't know. I mean, someone I should shout out.
I was about to say, sorry. Is the accountant coming in?
So we've got a lady called Claire. So now Claire, she is amazing. So there's a guy in Ironbridge called Tim who sharpens my knives. Bit of a hippie chap, he won't mind me saying. So quite a chill guy, like, and so I went round to drop my knives off just before I opened Embers. This was like cut back a month before, just about to start recruitment. And there's this lady there, Claire. She's having a rollie and a fag and a drink outside. And she'd heard a little bit about what we were doing. She's like, "Oh, I've just moved to the area, you know, from Yorkshire. I'm quite interested in what you're doing, actually. Like, could you take a CV? If you've got any, I've done lots of things, you know, any jobs you got going, sort of thing." I was like, "Yeah, of course, man. Let's drop it off." She dropped a CV off, and we're like, flipping heck, man. You know, she's like ran like huge organizations in Mumbai, been all over the world. I'm like, what the hell do you want to work for us for? Do you know, this is weird, but like, I really liked her.
Yeah.
And so I was like, said to Tess, I was like, got this lady here giving us this CV. Like, she wants to come, and she said she'll do anything. And I'm like, should we get her in? She's like, we'll get her in for a chat. And Tess just loved her straight away.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to get to the nitty gritty of why she want to work for us. And she liked what we were up to because it's different. But also she just like, she kind of made her money. She's renovating the house, which so it's for social aspect of like getting to know people and being part of something cool. And she just wanted to help us. But now she's our HR. She sorts out all of our like, financial stuff. She's doing all the spreadsheets and all this, like, all stuff. But at the same time, if the sink breaks, she comes in with a spanner. She's the last one doing washing up every weekend. Yeah. She's just like an all-round, she's unbelievable, all-rounder, like, incredible. Like, can't believe I forgot to mention you before, Claire, but thank you. We love you, man. But yeah, she probably won't listen.
So, anyway. No. We'll make it. So, I get the other bit. So, we talk about this. Richard Branson's never been able to read a P&L, or what you'd call in, from my world, a P&L. And I've always kind of got that. It's like, who the fuck cares?
Especially I don't even know what a P&L is.
Yeah, profit and loss management. For those who are watching, so I look like I know what I'm on about. If you don't know, fucking ask chat GPT.
Well, yeah.
And that's half of it for me. I mean, when I was at Monster now, I'm not really good maths, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. I've just got a really good gift. If I do something 3 times, I'm relentless at it. Right. I get a lot of skill fade. But I used to sit there and think, I don't fucking need no maths. Siri, what's 10 times 10? Or do you know what I mean? It was like, I just use my tools somewhere else. So I think that can be a debilitating thing for people who are starting businesses. When you think, I have to be this businessman or woman. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, totally.
Come up with one fucking deal and make it work.
We managed to get a bit of a grant from the council to open. And I had to, so for that, obviously had to write an extensive business plan. So did that, but it's like...
Better drain the shit out, didn't it?
I mean, it's quite funny actually, because I got the turnover almost bang on, but the profit I did not.
What's the lady's name you've got in the business?
Claire,
there you go. Help us out with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a bit before she started, like, as we opened, and I had to do this a few months before we opened. So, unfortunately, she wasn't there to help for that, but. Yeah.
There's a perfect example again for people watching. Like, you just got into it, sucked it up, got on with it, got the overarching bit right. Just the mix of it was a bit wrong. But I think, look, doing something. That
was the profit, though.
Yeah. Year 3.
Yeah.
But I think it's for that point, just do something, start moving. Otherwise, you're going to get fucking.
Oh, definitely, man. And like, just have a go. Have a go.
So if you want any advice, you've got to pop over to Embers, minimum spend of £55, and then he'll sit down with you and talk to you. Look, mate, it's been absolutely mint having you on. I knew this would be a good chat. Before we go, anything you just want to share, pass on, any words of wisdoms, if someone's watching this, probably pulling their hair out right now in the position you were maybe a year ago or have been.
I mean, just more of what I've said already. I think just have a go, follow your heart. Do like passion sells. People, if people can see you're passionate about something, then they buy into it. If I think chasing like chasing money probably isn't the way forward, unless, I mean, maybe that's your thing. From my perspective, just like try and celebrate what you're good at, and like don't chase the money. It will come. But just take all the opportunities you can.
Yep.
Say yes to as many things as you can certainly in the early days, but then learn when you need to start saying no as well. Yeah, because otherwise there will be a point where some things are going to be more worthwhile than others, and you can't do everything. You can't spread yourself too thin.
Agreed. Look, that's a great note to finish on, mate. Absolute pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me, man.
Tom, man. Cheers, buddy.
Nice one.
So if you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, follow and share Founder Files. Your support helps us grow. We reach more entrepreneurs and bring you even bigger and better guests. Drop us a comment below, let us know your thoughts and tell us who you'd like to see on the next episode. Every like, share and review helps us take Founder Files to the next level. So let's build the community together.